The Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast. I am one of your hosts and one of the commissioners. My name is Frankie, and sitting right next to me is Cam. Cam, how's it going?
Frank, you always ask me how's it going with me. How's it going with you?
Well, do we just get right into it then?
Sure, why not?
It's been a rough day. Well, it's a Halloween edition of the episode once again.
Spooky.
We don't have any monster movie comparisons, or I think we talked about candy last time. I think we did a power ranking of candies last time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because people used to ask questions.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. As you all know, the past 72 hours have been pretty rough for me. I had a lot of time to think over those past 72 hours, and it's been rough. I've been a little bit reclusive. I haven't been chatting as much. But seeing everybody gather here to listen to the podcast once again, it really means a lot to me. With everything I do, I want to have fun. Which is why I welcome you guys. I'm dressed in all black for a reason, Cam.
Oh, yeah.
I want to welcome all you guys, to my fantasy football funeral. In a typical funeral, you would say nice things about me, but I'm not a typical guy, and I want to say nice things about all you guys instead. Start off here with Dylan. Dylan, you were my first friend. You invited me into my very first fantasy league. You're probably our most loyal listener. I owe a lot to you, and I thank you. We are constant adversaries. You're constantly doing your best to, knock me down a peg in fantasy, and that kind of motivation has helped me along the way a lot, and I really appreciate you for that. Logan, man, we butt heads, especially about fantasy ideologically, in terms of logistics. But I do think that we look at fantasy in very similar ways. If you look at the way our teams have drafted over both our dynasty and this league, we're both pretty good at drafting similar-ish teams, and we're both losers. So let's go kind of hand in hand. But yeah, I respect you, and even though we butt heads all the time. JP, my heated division rival. He's always one to call out injustices. And he's always one to, even when he gets discouraged, to keep fighting the good fight. And I'm happy to see you win it all for the Studs and Stoners this year. Justin, my fellow commissioner. Man, we've had some ups and downs. A lot of downs last year, a lot of ups this year, I feel like. A man of integrity, and someone I respect deeply. Thank you for being by my side through this whole time, even though it's come to an end. Devin, you are living proof that an Asian Captain America does exist.
Oh my god.
You play with honor. You stick to your guys, your meal tickets, your Eagles, even when it means sticking to people who just literally can't catch footballs to save their life. It's going to be an honor to lose to you this week. And now I get to Cam. Cam, my fellow podcast host. This was your idea. This was your conception, your baby. You introduced me to the greater fantasy cognoscente, introduced me to the, more in-depth podcasts and research and analytical approaches, showed me that quarterbacks don't really matter in fantasy, even though I've only been playing one the entire season this year. I thought you were my ride or die. But Cam, you know what you did. And in fantasy, you're dead to me. We can still be friends outside of this. Also do the podcast. We can sit here and banter all you want. But you know what you did, and we're through. Now, I want to say that I would like none of you to I want you all to have some respect for me, and don't talk to me about fantasy for the rest of the season or anymore. Just let me go out in peace. I'll still answer commissioner questions. I'll do the podcast like I said. I'll finish out the contract that you had me sign. That has me under your thumb this whole time. But this was my funeral, and I just hope you guys can respect my wishes. Just don't talk about fantasy to me anymore. Thank you. So now, like I said, I'm gonna finish up my contract, and we're gonna talk. But we're gonna do the show. The show must go on. So let's get right into waivers here. There was nothing that happened in waivers this week besides for me getting dunked on. What a surprise.
Yeah. The only two people that got multiple bids on the Wednesday round of waivers, you both didn't get them.
Hey, you know what happened this morning too?
Oh no, did you get dunked on again?
I got dunked on again.
For the Cowboys
Oh,
defense.
the Cowboys defense. Yeah, so I got dunked on. No big ticket items this week. The only thing that really stood out to me is ding dong, bitch. The bum is dead. Nelson Aguilar is gone. He's off his team for another bum, Carson Wentz. Congratulations, Devin.
You hate to see it. Devin's got his ride or dies, his meal tickets, and now they're dying, and he's not eating, fam.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the winners and losers from last week then. I have the winners this week, which is just, a cruel joke every week. And you have
a trick, not a treat. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have the losers, and we'll start off with my matchup here for some reason. Thank you for writing the show doc this way, Cameron. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Jonu Smith had popped in a feature role this week as the lone starter. Expect to see more of that if he continues that role. For Jake here, no one else really popped besides for the Pats defense, of course, because they always do. Nothing. I think you said last week you expected this to be you couldn't expect this to be, generally speaking, like a lower scoring match. It was a little bit of a down week for both. Well, down week a lot for me. A little bit down week for Jake too. Nothing really too big. I mean, Lenny had a good day, but nothing super big besides for that. My only other note is that Corey Davis less than 2 points. LOL. Even with that, he's just the no draft list wins again.
The college highlights have not won a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, on your side here, you've often said that how you stream is the definition of how good of a fantasy player you are. And Jake really outstreamed you in this matchup, both quarterback and tight end, and they outscored you in both defense and kicker. Not a good way to start it, but everywhere else is it's about the same, and it's gonna be hard to win when no one on your team scores a touchdown.
Not a single touchdown.
Not a single TD.
I mentioned it in one of the chats, but I didn't get a single big play notification the entire weekend. If you're kidding, move on to the next matchup. My point rolls over into this one. I got so many Tevin Coleman notifications because he's on my team last year, and sometimes Sleeper keeps that cached, I guess, and you get player notifications. I still get notifications for Tyrell Williams from 2 years ago, or I guess not 2 years. I guess would have been early last year. Anyways, I got all 4 touchdown notifications. I also get a touchdown notification for Sony Michel from last year too, and so that feels great as well. But yeah, 4 touchdowns for Tevin Coleman for Dylan. I should say Dylan versus Logan's next matchup. Dylan wins. DeAndre Hopkins, after a slow start to the season, has a pretty dang good month. The last 4 weeks have been really good for him. Look to continue that this week against the Jags. Rodgers performs again and should be locked and loaded against the Chargers. Just all around good stuff from Dylan, who's just, we talked about thinking that his scoring was gonna start decreasing suddenly, and he's went from 150 to 148. So it's looking good for our boy here, Dylan.
Yeah. I was thinking that Kenny Stills might get some up in production after Will Fuller got hurt, but it looks like it might just all be going to Hopkins.
Yeah.
Not great. On the other side though, Logan. DJ Chark is a stud, probably the best waiver wire pickup this season. And Logan stacking him and Minshew were good, but they were the only people on his team that exceeded their projection. Everyone else underperformed. Shady got benched after he fumbled.
Yeah.
Everett, after being super involved, just kind of didn't get work this game. It was weird.
Huh.
Le'Veon Bell's on a bad team, so he's not going to be able to do a lot against good teams. Josh Jacobs just didn't get any long touchdown runs or anything like that, so he didn't have any boom. And then Allen Robinson just couldn't get the work when the Bears ran the ball literally every single play.
Yeah.
But everyone's still got a good amount of work. It's just tough matchups and stuff like that. So I feel like it's just an off week for Logan. I could see him bouncing back.
You said the same thing a week or two ago about Logan. You have a lot of optimism around his team in general.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good players. It's just, I don't know. They didn't perform.
Yeah.
Well, even with them all underperforming, he still almost got 100 points. So.
I mean, yeah, that's 100 points is enough to lose a week generally in our fantasy league.
Yeah, that's fair.
But still. Okay, let's move on here then to Levi versus JP. Levi wins again. Surprise, surprise. Michael Thomas pops with Drew Brees back to no one's surprise. Golden Tate has become the player, fantasy-wise, that I thought Sterling Shepard would become this season. I thought they'd have more of a split role, but obviously Sterling's been out for like a month and a half with concussion stuff, and he's been out multiple times this season with injuries. So,
I could see Tate going down once Sterling comes back.
Yeah, I mean I expected Sterling to be a second half season kind of guy who's going to emerge when Daniel Jones takes over the starting role, and then there's a more established offense with Golden Tate helping. Obviously, you get production. I thought it would help the offense overall, but Sterling's just been injured, so what can I say? Kelsey finally enters touchdown drag. It's the second touchdown of the season, and even with that, he's still the tight end too. So that's it just goes to show what the tight end landscape really is.
Yeah, and on the other side, JP, doesn't win here, but there's some good stuff going on. James White is consistent AF.
Yeah.
Like, hasn't scored less than 8 points or something like that. Never scored more than hasn't scored less than 9. Oh my god. Never scored more than 11 though. So it's very consistent. Besides the 1 week where his wife was giving birth.
Right.
Literally every game either 9 point something or 10 point something.
Wow.
But it's really hurting JP that the Chargers were kind of inept this game against the Bears. And then Seattle really took their foot off the gas in the second half against Atlanta to both JP and Dylan's chagrin. DK Metcalf scores 2 touchdowns on 3 catches and 13 yards. That's ridiculous, but they just didn't need anything for him.
Yeah.
The rest of the game. And one last thing, Larry Fitzgerald he was really solid to start the season, but these last 2 weeks, 1.7, 1.8, a lot less targets than usual. It's not looking good for him, especially this week against San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. Is Christian Kirk getting more targets or what?
I mean, Christian Kirk came back this last week and got 11 targets, so
yeah.
That explains this most recent week, and also it's a tough matchup with New Orleans, but the Giants only 3 targets.
Yeah, it's just a weird week in general. I mean, that's the Chase Edmonds week, so.
Fair point.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's move on to the next matchup here then. I'll go to yours, you versus Lassie. We all saw Cooper Kupp's touchdowns.
Wait, you're doing the winners. Why are you doing my team?
Right.
I
don't know, Cam.
I won.
I don't know, Cam.
That's wild.
You tell me. I just want to skip over you now. Kupp has touchdown catch, blah, blah, blah. Tyreek Hill is a wide receiver 2 with Matt Moore. I don't know if he has wide receiver 1 upside, but I think he's pretty solid there still. Breeze is back. That was pretty good for your team. I know I said he probably won't play, but then he did and scored 27 points, something like that? 25. And yeah, I just have, a more introspective question for myself is just, why did I drop Latavius Murray? So sad.
Just have all the backup running backs like me and Dylan.
Honestly, if I had not seen that low T video, I might not have dropped him. I felt so called out.
Oh my god.
Well, no, I mean, the problem is, if I really look back to it, analytically, I kept Deebo Samuel over him because I just believe in the player so much, but it was so bad. It's such a bad call. Yeah.
I mean, I gave Latavius Murray that Sharkhandrick West. Was that the guy the Chiefs kept cutting and re-signing?
Yeah.
And he just kept coming back to me, so it was nice.
Yeah.
But Lassie, oof, I'm sorry. This is gotta hurt. It's heartbreaker.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good to talk about, obviously, because he scored 160 points. Aaron Jones is the only running back to lead his team in targets. Like every other team, it's either a tight end or a wide receiver, so that's pretty crazy. And he also has Saquon, who could probably be doing that too if he was healthy the whole season.
Yeah.
So that's solid running back pair. Evans and Edelman both got double-digit targets and scored 2 touchdowns. Pretty ridiculous. And then Melvin Gordon scored a TD, not a TV. Mm-hmm. That's all really good. What's bad is that, Gordon's been really inefficient so far this season since he's been back. And then both his quarterback and tight end and J.D. McKissick all underperformed a lot. If any of them just kind of did, okay, easily would have won this week. His team has the talent to just go off and boom any single week. Yeah. But he needs to get some wins together in order to make playoffs, and then he'd be really scary.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on here now. Second last matchup of the week. Tyler versus Greg, and I have Tyler this week. Hey, remember when I called David Montgomery a bust last week?
He is a bust, right?
Yeah, then he went off for 25, 28 points, whatever it was.
Jeez.
I should double check that. Went off for 22.7. Yeah, that was a bad call. Chubb tops 100 yards again against New England this week. Not a whole lot of production fantasy-wise, but that man's a beast. Good enough. I think it's about what you expect from going up against New England, especially in a game where the Browns just were completely incapable of doing anything offensively. And he gets Denver this week, which should be a good match for him. Tyrell Touchdown Williams scores again in his game back. How's it even possible? Then my last note for Tyler's team on here is that he's been holding on to Mr. AJ Green for a long time the entire season here, and if he does come back within a week or two, it's kind of seeming like trending more that way. I mean, even talking about an extension recently, which is just. Oh, God, please free my man, AJ Green. He gets to come back to a rookie quarterback for some reason that I still don't understand. But, congratulations, AJ.
Yeah, they benched Andy Dalton on his birthday.
Yeah,
Not great.
I don't understand that move at all, but I don't know.
Yeah, why didn't they trade him? Why didn't they trade AJ Green? Because they're stupid. Anyways, speaking of stupid, just kidding, Greg. Greg, over here.
Whoa.
Greg has not won a game since week 2. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, but his team this week did pretty good, 112 points. It was solid all around, besides just Jacoby Brissett underperformed, as well as Josh Hill, but 5 points from Josh Hill you're kind of fine with. I guess he overperformed his projection. Way to go, Josh. But Jacoby Brissett, had been scoring touchdowns pretty ridiculous so far this season, so it makes sense that he came down to earth.
He was Mr. Regression candidate this last week.
Mm-hmm. But, Mixon actually did okay. But sucks for Greg because he probably would have won. He definitely would have won if he started Miles Sanders, which would, obviously hard to predict. But
yeah, I mean, he would have had to start both running backs for the Eagles to win this week, and it's like, how do you justify that? I mean, not even with hindsight, it's like, do I really like that more than Tyler Boyd? Like, maybe, no, probably not.
No, yeah, it's just rough for him.
Yeah,
he's got a solid team. It's just missing that X factor that actually puts him over the top. Everyone's just kind of like a good contributing player.
Yeah, we thought Mick Carson might be coming that early in the season, but he's slowed down a bit, and who knows what's happening with Stephon Diggs. He's putting up good points, but he's it's far from reliable.
I mean, that offense just doesn't need him a lot of ways.
Right. Okay, then last matchup.
Yep.
Justin versus Devin here. Justin, Austin Hooper is currently the tight end 1 of the season, and he has him there, so that's a good thing to have. I haven't tipped up totally with the Brandon Cook saga. He might be done for the rest of the season. It's his second concussion sustained this season. I haven't seen any updates quite yet, but I think it's a good chance that he's done this season, at least this fantasy season. He might come back in time for playoffs, if the Rams can get there. But I think that's going to be a bit of a loss for Justin. So although, both Woods and Cooks have been underperformers this year for both of us, it's still a loss to be sure on his team. Yeah, and did I have anything else here? Yeah. I was gonna say yeah. So Justin, he won this week. Not 119 points. Not a super high scoring week. If you look at a lot of his players, it just kind of nobody really had a huge week besides for the kinds of guys you expect, like Christian McCaffrey. But Cole Beasley does get a touchdown, and the Jags defense for 18 points does kind of push him over the top here, and just doing just enough to beat Devin.
Yeah, Devin, who probably should have done just enough looking at his matchups. But, Ty Johnson not getting the work you expect doesn't help. And then Russell Wilson scoring 15 points against Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's just brutal. You'd expect, 30 from him in that kind of matchup.
Yeah.
Gurley, his workload has definitely gotten back to earth since their bye. Or since he was out of game. Yeah, since he was out of game. Yeah. Around 60 to 50% snaps each week. So, he's touchdown dependent RB2 basically at this point, whereas Marlon Mack's a pretty solid low end running back 1, I guess. I don't really know. Kenny Golladay is great though.
Yeah.
Go Devin. Yeah. I don't know, not a lot going on with Devin's team. Ertz and Ty Johnson were mega busts though.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested to see what's going on with Cortland Sutton with now that they're man down with Flacco out from the helm, and who are they even starting now? I don't even remember, because Drew Lock is still it's just
out.
Some random guy, right? So a guy who's looking who is a wide receiver 1 on the team currently, looking like a really good fancy asset, might have that stunted for him. which is unfortunate.
All I know about the quarterback is that he threw 3 picks in the preseason.
Cool. And yeah, that was our winners and losers from last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the preview for this week, and we'll start off here with Logan versus Justin.
Yeah, and surprisingly, looking at this matchup, I feel like Logan, who's 3-5, is a pretty strong favorite over Justin, who's 6-2. Mostly because all of his matchups are like either good or great.
Well, that's a lot of green.
Yeah, it's
my
pretty
God.
crazy. You know, a lot of it's from the Jets versus Miami, which is great for Logan. I mean, especially Adam Gase's revenge game. He's going to try and stack points, so maybe he'll score like 20 this week. You never know.
Yeah.
And a lot of Logan's underperformances these last couple weeks have been due to bad matchups. So now that everyone's got a really good matchup, I could easily see this like come in skyrocketing almost. Like Allen Robinson versus Philadelphia could be ridiculous. Robbie Anderson versus Miami. And he might even get Devontae Adams back, which would be really good for him.
Yeah.
It is kind of nerve-wracking because he has no players that he could put in for Devontae Adams if he said that he can't go right before the game. He might have to, doesn't have room on his IR, so he might have to put in LaShawn McCoy beforehand just to guarantee points, depending on how he's feeling. But, I mean, I'm feeling good for Logan this week. On the other hand, though, you know, Justin's got a pretty savage play going on, starting Sam Darnold against Logan. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
But besides Christian McCaffrey, who's got an okay matchup versus Tennessee, I could see all of the people that Justin is starting on Logan's bench. Like, every other person that Justin is starting is not good enough to crack Logan's starting lineup, in my opinion.
Yeah, wow, actually.
Yeah.
That's
so
kind of wild.
He's going to need some great stuff from Christian McCaffrey, and even if Sam Darnold goes off, it probably means that Logan's guys go off even more. It's going to be hard to see Justin win this week.
Especially because he looks like he's abandoning his kicker flex. I know he has a bye with the Rams here, but still, that's he looks like he's going to abandon his kicker flex. He already has 2 guys in his flex, and we'll throw in Darren Fells into his tight end here soon as well. But
I could definitely see wanting to start a kicker over Damian Williams this week.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Agree with that. Okay, let's get into the next matchup here. Your matchup this week, you versus Dylan, which is a fun thing here. Both of you guys' rosters are currently locked, so you can't make any moves. So I can see how you both have to deal with that.
I mean, he can just drop Olabisi Johnson.
Yeah,
Come on.
Right. But narratives, you know. Interesting to see what you do, though. Looks like you're looking to start Jameis Winston versus the Seahawks, which is not what I don't necessarily see as a high upside game. I see it as a kind of a low upside game.
Why is that?
Because I think Jameis Winston's a bad quarterback.
Yeah, but Matt Schaub threw for 450 yards against Seattle.
Okay. I just don't see it. Saints on bye forces your hand at RB2. So it looks like you currently have that's right, you have Jamal Williams in your RB2. You see your other, let me see your other options. I don't remember. Do you have any other options?
Jalen Samuels.
Yeah. So I'll force your hand there to see which one you're going to start. Yeah, I mean, I think your team looks, I mean, you have like obviously really great matchups with Dalvin Cook against Kansas City. George Kittle should feast against Arizona.
Revenge game.
Yeah, should feast against Arizona. Let's see what Marvin Jones can do this week. See if he has any more, but he can have something more similar to what he had 2 weeks ago than he had last week. But yeah, that's kind of what I have for your side here. Dylan's roster also locked, but you know, like you can just drop Olabisi. Good matchups across the board. He has. Only other note on Dylan's side here is that James Conner didn't practice yesterday. We don't know if he's practiced today yet, being Thursday. Even if he doesn't play, he can always just throw in Adam Thielen, who should be good to go this week, into his flex there. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see what. It'll be fun to see what Tevin Coleman can do tonight against Arizona, coming off of that 4-touchdown game.
Will not be fun to see that, actually.
Oh, fun for me. And yeah, that's about all I have for you guys' matchup.
There's a lot riding on this Thursday night game, and he's got a lot better setup going. Besides George Kittle. But what if they just have to run it the whole game because they don't have to pass against Arizona? Not feeling good. Scheduled loss. Anyways, moving on to you versus Devin.
Do we have to?
I mean, we can keep it nice and quick. because it's not a great week for you with your Baltimore stack against New England.
Yeah.
And then, you got to start Peterson and Lindsey with Freeman on bye, which are, pretty low-end running backs just in general.
Yeah.
You got a good matchup with John Brown against Washington, but you could easily just see the Buffalo just running the ball all over them because, Washington's just going to run Adrian Peterson into a wall.
Yeah.
I saw Mark Sessler tweet that this game could be over in 2 hours and 30 minutes, and this is kind of dream game, so not be good for you though. Because on the other side, one last thing for you though. You're starting Dallas Goedert against Devin. High key move.
Yeah,
Big fan.
I mean, like there's been our league has been in this weird stalemate where nobody's bid on Dallas Goedert the entire season, and that was something that's been surprising me. Maybe it's just not been on people's radars. He's been on my radar for like 2 months now. I've always been thinking about like what should I add to my bench, and then I figured like, hey, now's the good time as ever versus Devin.
I mean, like if I'm Greg, I definitely want Goddard over Witten.
Right.
But that's Greg. Anyways, you're finally starting Juju, even though you benched me with Miami. Yeah, it worked out fine.
I mean, like, to me that's a cool coin toss. We're starting the wrong quarterback is our issue. So like Mason Rudolph can't throw the football. Like I don't know.
I mean, he just sees it, waits 2 seconds, and then throws.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes against Indianapolis as opposed to against Miami.
I mean, let's say Juju got most of his fantasy points off his 2 catches, and both of them were plays that he made. Like, he didn't get any assists from his quarterback. So it's like, how often can he do that? I don't know.
But on the other side, you got Marlon Mack, who Pittsburgh has been good against running backs, but they haven't really been tested since San Francisco in Week 3. And Indy's got a great offensive line, so we'll see how that goes for him. Galladay has a great matchup against Oakland, which is projected to be a pretty big shootout, but nothing else is really great for Devin. Chicago is playing the Eagles this week, so that's not great for a lot of Devin's players. We talked about Cortland Sutton. We have no idea what's going to happen with the quarterback. He's starting Devin Singletary, which... Okay, so, like, he's been kind of their passing down back, and are they really going to need a passing down back against Washington? But we don't really know if they're just using him as passing down back because they were down last week, or if that's how they want to use him. I don't know. But Russell Wilson is playing against Tampa Bay. So if the coaches realize that they should maybe throw the ball with their MVP-level quarterback, he could score 40 points.
I prefer Pete Carroll to take total control of this game and just say, we're running the damn ball.
I could see that happening too.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes for Devin, but... It'd be pretty terrifying if I were you, just seeing that on the other side.
Yes. I mean, I'm looking at what I think should be the quarterback one on the week. But who knows? Since what they're going to do in Seattle.
Yeah.
Moving on here to Tyler versus Lassie here. I don't love the upside of either team so much this week. No great but no bad matchups for Tyler. His roster's also locked. That's 3 for 3 so far. Aaron Jones is the only valuable player with a good matchup for Lassie I have here, but he is with a shoulder injury, so to see if he ends up even playing. Good to have Saquon versus the Cowboys in prime time because he's played the Cowboys 3 times in his career and is averaging 18.3 points against them. I think the matchup could come down to that and how Saquon does. So if I'm looking at just if I were to pick this matchup, I think it's pretty similar across the boards here. I don't know. I guess I'm not a big believer in Jameis Winston, but it could be a good game against Seattle too, as we'll see. I think there just wasn't a whole lot of upside for Kyler Murray this week, so I'm just not loving the upside on Lassie's side. So if I were to pick out to win, I don't even know who I'd pick. I guess I go Lassie just because I think that Saquon and could do something. I was going to mention something later, but I guess I'll bring it up now because it's still relevant. I'll bring it up later as well. So the Chargers running backs this week are going up against Green Bay, which is like on paper a good matchup, but they specialize in shutting down pass catching running backs. So that benefits Melvin Gordon, I think, because that means that Austin Eckler should be more contained. So this should be a better week for Melvin Gordon. Maybe? I don't know. But yeah, that's all I have for them.
Yeah, this is a tough week for Tyler to be missing Julio Jones because I feel like if he has him, he's the favorite in this game.
Yeah.
But without him, he's going to need Tyrell Williams to be more than just a 3-catch, 70 yards, and 1 touchdown guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough starting Duke Johnson when he's got Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll bench him once his roster's not locked. I don't know. Anyways, our matchup. Oh wait, no, this is not our matchup of the week. This is the matchup of Greg and JP. Yeah. So as I said, Greg has a 6-game losing streak, and this is not a good week for him to want to be breaking it, because he's got both Atlanta and Cincinnati on bye, which makes up 4 of his starting roster spots. So now he's stuck with starting Chris Conley, both of the Philadelphia running backs, which would have worked out last week, but it's not what you want to have to do.
Yeah.
And then all of the other starters don't really have great matchups. And he's also starting Ryan Tannehill. Eesh. He's got the Chris Carson side of the Seattle versus Tampa Bay game, which is not the side that you want to go against with Tampa Bay.
Right.
Stephon Diggs versus Kansas City. A lot of people are thinking that might just be a game where they can run it on Kansas City all game, keep the ball on the ground, slow it down. And yeah, I don't really know. He's still starting Jason Witten, whereas JP is the tight end king of our league with both Evan Ingram and Hunter Henry, even though he's not starting Evan Ingram instead of Larry Fitzgerald right now. Why are you doing that? Yeah. But JP has both Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, who are against the Tampa Bay secondary. Hooey! And then he's also got Tom Brady and James White, who might actually need to do something against Baltimore this week, against a team with a 1-5 kind of record. Yeah. And then it's possible that the Chargers will need to throw against Green Bay if Green Bay can put up some points on the board early. So that's good for Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry. So, I feel like JP's feeling pretty good this week.
The only problem is, can that quarterback still throw the ball? I'm not so sure about that.
Tom Brady?
No, Philip Rivers.
Oh, yeah,
my only note, I wanted to give a quick note on Greg's side of the ball here, because we know Mohamed Sanu moved teams this week and did approximately nothing last week. Isn't willing to throw a dart this week at him, it doesn't look like. Could be.
I mean, Greg still needs to fill another flex spot.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Mohamed Sanu is the only person not on bye, unless you want to start Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, never mind. Actually, he will throw him unless he picks somebody up else, or kicker flex. Yeah, that's potential as well. But yeah, anyways, that was my only note. But now I'm completely derailed because he hadn't finished his roster yet. Anyways,
come on, Greg.
Let's move on to the matchup of the week this week, which I think is pretty obviously Jake versus Levi. From Jake's side, Zeke should go up against the Giants. Same with Amari in prime time. Don't love his other wide receiver options at all, really. Baltimore is pretty okay versus the run, so we'll have to see if Sony can do much there. And Leonard Fournette, who's been really glowing up this second part. There's this middle third of the season. He gets his ultimate home game this week, playing in London, where the Jags perform better than any team in the history of football. So he gets that power up for sure. On Levi's side of the ball here, as I was mentioning, I was going to mention this thing earlier with the Chargers, is that Eckler on paper is a good matchup, but Green Bay shows down pass catching RBs, even though Eckler seems to be both the better runner on the ground and through the air.
He's had a worse yards per carry since Melvin Gordon came back.
Yes, because they're not giving him. Compare
1.7. Yards per carry.
Oh, you mean compared to Melvin?
Yeah.
I thought you meant compared to earlier in the season.
No.
Is that wow? How's that even possible?
Yeah, it's awful. Everyone's saying, why can't they free Eckler? Eckler's been even worse. It's wild.
Oh, I might need to I have to analyze tape. This sounds unbelievable, actually. Other things on Levi's side is that looks like he's kind of being forced to start maybe Crowder with the Saints on by losing Michael Thomas. But he also has Sammy Watkins and Gore on the sideline. Could maybe throw one of the guys into step in as flex. I mentioned how well the Jags usually play in London, but I do think Watson should be able to continue his current quarterback one campaign in the divisional matchup against the Jags this week. So I guess we should, unless you have anything to say, we should probably pick matchup of the week, right?
Yeah. I was just looking this over, thinking about who I actually think will win this.
Yeah.
Jeez. I feel like without having Michael Thomas, Levi is definitely a lot more vulnerable this week.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, because he's missing the wide receiver one on the season. But Jake Logan's got the Patriots against Baltimore, not helping him out. What's the MATLAB say about this game?
MATLAB 3.0 says it's the second closest game in terms of projection. Mine and Devin's actually the closest. But it's Levi at 56.6% and Jake at 43.37%. Some rounding errors there, but Levi is favored a bit, but it's pretty dang close there.
Yeah, I really want Levi to win, obviously, because I'm trying to win my division over here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jake's got this.
You think so? I don't even. It's tempting to pick Jake here, but Levi is starting a god, and a god against Seattle. In Seattle though, Travis Kelce versus Minnesota. He's starting Mark Walden. Oh, Jake, I'm picking Jake. Oh my God, please. Get out of here.
Walton.
No upset this week?
I mean, I guess you could call this the upset of the week.
I'm upset. I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
Say it louder!
I'm upset.
Alrighty, and that was our weekly preview, and we have a completely empty mailbag, so I guess we're wrapping up.
Sad.
Thank you all for listening to another episode of the MLB Camp Baseball Podcast. I've been Frankie.
And this is Cam.
And we'll see you all next week as I continue to, get through my contractual obligation and finishing out the rest of the season. I will slug along for you, for the people, and so Cam doesn't, hurt my family and steal my dog and all those things that are written into my contract. Why did I sign something like that? Why did you write something like that? Roofies. Oh my God. We have it on tape, boys. We got them. But anyways, we will see you next week.
Peace.